Hello there my fellow Holotable heroes, let's talk about Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes. Now CG just announced brand new Conquest number 7, so in this video what I really want to go through is all the feats that they will be coming along, because there are a lot of changes, pretty much double the feats than before. We've got double the bosses because each sector will have a mini boss halfway through the sector, so there is definitely a whole lot more planning here that will be happening. So first I'll just go through the global feats and then go through sector by sector, the sector feats as well as mini boss and final boss feats. Now these teams that I'll be showing you here on the screen, these by no means are like probably the only teams or even the best teams, just kind of some placeholder teams, something to start off when we get to working with those feats. Obviously everything will depend on the modifiers from the enemies as well as what data discs you will have equipped and things like that. So you know, this is just purely for the visual purposes of going through these feats. So I'll just start with the first global feat, Living Light. So for this one you have to win 40 battles with a full squad of light side units, so you know, this will just happen as you go along. Same thing for Dabble in the Darkness, where you have to win 40 battles with a full squad of dark side units. So I think these two are carryover from the previous conquests. Up next, Bring Balance. I think that's a new one, where you have to win 20 battles with at least one light side and one dark side character surviving. So we'll have to do a bit of a mixed team here, but again, as we'll probably doing some other feats, this might get completed by itself anyways, we shall see. Up next, in terms of global feats, we've got Death Leave a Mark. Now this one you have to gain offense up 500 times. Again, I don't think this will be an issue, especially if you get you know, all those buff discs that give you offense up and things like that, but this is just kind of suggestion here. Hey, you got Bastila can give offense up, Yoda can gain offense up on his basic, then spread it. Shakti hands out offense up on her basic, Qui-Gon on one of his special, and then Anakin there as well on his AoE. So I think this one will be pretty straightforward as well. It'll just, you know, happen as you progress through. Next one, Grand Victory, defeat at least 500 enemies. I mean, you know, again, this will just happen as you're progressing through the conquest, nothing necessary to talk about there. Up next, Unguarded. So this where you have to win 20 battles with no tanks in your squad. Now obviously you can go with many ways here, but the CLS, you know, it's an absolute powerhouse usually in the conquest, especially as you get towards the hard sectors where enemies are over prepared and they're very fast and things like that. CLS turn meter train can really get you going, and there are absolutely no tanks in the squad, so definitely a very effective team to do that. And we've got the Night Brother feat, so this kind of goes to the whole mold theme that it's going on for this conquest. And here we have to win 20 battles with Maul and Savage. So as you can see, we've got a lot of different feats here, winning many battles, and finally one's own path where you have to defeat 100 enemy units with unaligned force users. Again, depending what you have on your roster, you'll just have to work with what you've got. So even looking at the global feats, as you can see, we've got, it seems like feats that will require a lot more replayable missions as before, where you just kind of went through and maybe in the end just finish off. And that was one of the things that CG pointed out anyways, that for this conquest they want to make it something more that you play every day for the 2 weeks of duration, not just, you know, blitz it, get it done in a couple of days if you're refreshing and things like that. So there'll be a whole lot more of replaying a lot of missions to get these feats done. So these are the global feats. So now let's go ahead and look at Sector 1 feats. Now the opportunistic advance, you have to attack out of turn 100 times. General Skywalker is a good team because obviously he's counter-attacking, Fives is counter-attacking, ARC Trooper can counter-attack, Echo's assisting. So this team I think can pretty quickly knock out this feat here in Sector 1. Up next, Lucky Shot, where you have to score 200 critical hits. Again, this shouldn't be too difficult to get it done with whatever you've got. Up next, we've got a Critical Success feat, where you have to gain advantage 40 times. Now first order, they are the best source of advantage here, so some sort of first order team there, whatever you've got should get this done easily. If not, there are other alternatives. Again, This is by no means an exhaustive list of all the teams, it's just some kind of starting here teams that you can work with. Now this one, oh boy, Calicori, where you have to defeat 30 units with Phoenix squad. Now, luckily, it does need to be a full Phoenix squad, because you can see, apart from Ezra, maybe Chopper, the rest of my Phoenix squad is not all that useful. So what you could do with a fit like this, for example, you could, if you do have Galactic Legend Rey, I think that's what I'll do. I'll bring in Rey, I'll bring in Ezra, and then bring in Hermit Yoda, 3PO, and Mon Mothma, because none of these three characters are attackers. They can't attack, basically, their abilities. And then Rey can just keep spending lifeblood, and then if you have heal over time buff discs, she'll keep recovering health, so she can just keep using lifeblood. She doesn't have to really attack anybody, and then let Ezra do all the defeating. I think that's the approach I will take. Of course, I will make video if I'm successful to share with the rest of you. Up next, bounties to collect. Now we got all these bounty hunters we had to relic, either for, you know, Master Kenobi or for Executor. So now we actually can put them to good use in the upcoming conquest, because you will have to win 14 battles with a full squad of bounty hunters. Okay, so again, going back to the fact that we'll have to replay probably every sector at least once, if not more, because here you have to win 14 battles with bounty hunters, and there are 14 battles in each sector. So here, just by playing once through with your bounty hunters, you will still have to go do the Phoenix feat, you will have to do all the other feats. So it definitely looks like we'll have to be replaying this a whole lot more going forward. So the next Sector 1 feat is a mouthful. Let me try and pronounce this. Strike. Basically, you have to attempt to inflict potency down 40 times. And as far as I'm aware, there are only 2 characters that apply a potency down. Yoda on his basic, as well as young Lando there on his basic. Now my young Lando there, he won't really be useful. My smugglers are not very good, so I'll just probably be doing some sort of Jedi team always with Yoda. Keep calling Yoda to assist, and you don't need to land it, you just have to attempt to inflict it. So I think this feat will be done very quickly, because Yoda's getting so many turns anyways. Okay, so we are now on the mini boss fights, and let me show you here what is waiting for us in Sector 1 mini boss. Now all these details that I'm reading out to you, including screenshots of the boss fights, this is all thanks to guys over at SWGOH Events Discord. All information is from there, so thank you guys so much for sharing this with community. So definitely, if you're not a member yet of their Discord server, definitely go and join it. They have so much useful stuff about the game there that will help you organize all these now multiple events that we have running. Alright, so first mini boss here that we have is a Padme team, but as you can see, it's not like a fully loaded Padme team, but again, you know, modifiers here. Galactic Republic, they'll have steadfast retribution. So those ones are definitely our favorite. But anyway, the feats for this battle is Fight for the Light, where you have to win with a full squad of light side units. As we know, Jedi Revan is a good counter to Padme, so probably you can just go ahead and use that. The next one is Touch of Darkness, where you have to win with a full squad of dark side units. Normally, like in Grand Arena or Territory Wars, again, Traya would work well against Padme, so we definitely will give that a shot. And then finally, Calculated Risk, where you have to win with an undersized squad, so I'll just try Darth Revan there and see how that one goes, really. So these are the mini boss fights for Sector 1, so let's just move on to the final boss in Sector 1. A Qui-Gon lead? Really? With Padme there? Yoda? Not sure how that will all play out. I guess we'll have to wait and see. But anyway, the feats here for the final boss in Sector 1. All Separatists, so you have to win with a full Separatist squad. I'm assuming we'll use some sort of General Grievous team here. And hopefully they can get the job done. So the next one is Unguarded, where you have to win with no tanks in your squad. Again, probably Jedi Knight Revan here is going to be a good one to go in. And finally, Stunning Tactics, where you have to win the battle after attempting to inflict stun 20 times. Now Jedi Knight Luke, he's got a mass stun, so that'll be 5 targets. You can maybe bring some other characters that can stun, I'm not sure. I think so this one will be pretty much, you'll have to probably delay the battle over and over again until you get your stuns out. So we'll see, because obviously, you know, these Jedi, they have a lot of firepower here, so we'll definitely want to slow play it. That's why here I just put Jedi Luke and all the either, you know, like very low damage dealers. So hopefully Luke can get around to his mass stun, what, like 4 times to complete this. Otherwise, obviously, we've got Pulps as well. He has a mass stun as well, so maybe Palpatine with Vader could be a way to go. We'll have to wait and see how all these modifiers and data disks play the role in all of this. Alright, let's move on to the Sector 2 next. Unsupportive. Now for this one you have to win 10 battles with no support in your squad, so obviously you can use attackers, tanks, healers, sort of sorts. So definitely, you know, Jedi there are a very good team to take out anybody pretty much that probably Sector 2 will throw at you. Up next, the best defense. You have to win with 5 attackers in your squad. Again, here I do like here CLS rebels, and then the 5th one obviously would be 3PO, his support, so just use any sort of other rebel attacker in there. I just for fun will give it a go if I can actually make a use of my Falcon, because I don't use her anywhere else. The next feat in Sector 2, super support. Now this one you have to grant at least 100 buffs to all allies. Now troopers have tons of buffs, so this will be very easy to complete. And of course, you know, even if you have equipped one of those discs with offensive, defensive buffs or heal over time buffs, I think, you know, this feat will be very straightforward to achieve. Up next, all Night Sisters feat. So this seems like in Sector 1 Bounty Hunters, you have to win 14 battles with a full squad of Night Sister units. So again, we'll have to replay Sector 2 at least once, all the battles, if not more, to get all the feats done. So this definitely, you can see a theme here for every sector already. It's going to be lots of replaying of the missions. Moving on, Striking Back, and this one you have to defeat 40 units with rebel fighters. If you do have more MOF up and running, probably that will be your best bet. Otherwise, we'll have to do some sort of other trickery here. So definitely, you know, if I come across something, I'll definitely share it with you in the upcoming videos. The next feat that we do have to achieve is Blinding Assault, where you have to attempt to inflict blind 40 times. Now 3PO and Chewie, he's got a mass blind, so probably he will be your best bet for this feat with rebels here. But again, you might have to slow play it here. But again, this does not need to be in one single battle, can be in multiple battles. So definitely, you know, where you do have to win the battle 10 times with 5 attackers. If you do see less rebels, you will at the same time be able to get the blind feat done as well. So it's kind of 2 for 1 here really from that regard. And now we are already moving on to the mini boss fights, and the mini boss here in Sector 2 is General Grievous, and the feats are pretty much repeated from Sector 1 here. So Fight for the Light, where you have to win with light side characters, Touch of Darkness, winning with dark side, and finally Calculated Risk, winning with an undersized squad. So it seems like the mini boss feats will be repeated in every sector. We'll see as we go onwards, but the first 2 sectors, these feats are exactly the same. So let's just now move on to the feats for the final boss battle, which is Night Sisters. So for some reason Night Sisters are final and Grievous is mini boss. You would think it would be opposite, but probably they'll give them some nasty modifier to take them harder to beat. Now the first feat here is the Recovery Expert, and this is where you have to recover 300,000 points of health. Now these recovery feats are always very tricky, just because we still do not have feats counters, so you have no idea did you recover now health or not. But generally the idea is to always kind of use Malak, because obviously, you know, he has high health pool, and then he can recover a lot of health with his life drained and Watt stack as well. It can keep healing him up. And then also from Pulp's lead there, whenever you apply debuff, you will be recovering health as well with Sith and Empire. So some sort of team like this, I think, should be able to get this done. Up next, we've got Going Critical, and here we have to score at least 20 critical hits in a row during allies' turns. As we know, troopers, barring any crazy modifier, should be able to burn through Night Sisters very quickly. And, you know, to get those attacks in a row, basically, you know, once you get to turn meter train rolling, Night Sisters won't even get a turn. In case they do, in the end you can just be down to zombie and another Night Sister and just keep killing zombie over and over again, feeding Terminator. Shouldn't be an issue at all, I think, to achieve this one. And finally, flawless victory, win without losing any units. Now obviously I put a team there, but most likely if you go in with troopers or even these guys, you won't lose anybody anyway. I just put it there for display purpose for video so that I can show you all the feats. Alright, sector 2 done, let's move on to the sector 3 feats next. So starting with the stunning tactics feat. So here we have to attempt to flick stun 100 times. So again, you could either use Jedi Look if you have him, he's got a must stun, Palpatine's got a must stun, and then here Dooku as well can stun on his basic and his special, and then the Royal Guard can also stun on his basic. So there you go. This, you just have to kind of use characters that can apply stuns, and you should be good to go there. Up next, Shadowy Dealings, and here you have to gain stealth 40 times. Now if you do have Zeta Maul lead a relic top, you can definitely use him with some Sith, and that should work really well. Otherwise, we also got Rey here with the droids. There are two, can use smoke screen, put everybody in stealth. Then 3PO can put stealth on himself as well, so maybe it's another way to get this stealth fit done if you do not have Maul there ready to go. Up next, Relentless Fury. So for this one you have to gain Frenzy 20 times. Now as far as I'm aware, boss has Frenzy as well as Beast, and my Beast is only gear 8, so I'll have to rely on my bounty hunters here to get the Frenzy up and running 20 times. Oh man, it's gonna be a lot of battles replaying over and over again. I can already see that as we're moving through all these feats. Up next, all Old Republic. Here you have to defeat 40 units with Old Republic. Now, whatever you've got there, probably your best bet will be Revan, Jolie and Basti, and then Johanny and Canderous, or you could go Mission Zalbar and just try to find some weak team because these guys don't pack a whole lot of firepower. But anyway, I'm sure we'll be able to get this done somehow with some powerful data disks. Moving on, Clumsy Feat. Here you have to attempt to inflict evasion down 40 times. Again, looking this, you could probably combine here the Clumsy and the Relentless Fury feat, just because Zam there, she's got a special that applies evasion down on all enemies. So definitely, again, you'll have to find a ways to try and combine these feats because you don't want to be replaying all sectors twice. So definitely once we actually start playing through, I'll be making more videos. This is just kind of an overview of all the feats. All Empire, you have to win at least 14 battles with a full squad of Empire units. Okay, that's gonna be an interesting team there. We got Mandalorians. Alright, we'll see how that one works. But anyway, it seems like all these mini boss feats are again repeated. So you have to win with light side squad, a dark side squad, and as well as underside squad. Now because of these feats, it means you will have to do 3 battles on each mini boss. So again, replaying over and over again. So that seems like the theme really CG made for this conquest. We'll have to be replaying, looking at these feats, probably even like 2 times each sector. So do it once and then the rerun twice. These feats again repeated for the mini boss battle. So let's just move on now onto the final boss sector feats. Hindered movement. So that's the one probably that's always tricky to do, where you have to remove 700% turn meter. However, fortunately this time is against a team that you can actually remove turn meter from. Only Vader there will be, unless they put some crazy modifier. Just looking at that team there, only Vader you can't remove turn meter from, and it's a 6 squad team, so actually you have 5 characters you can remove turn meter from. So you put Tarkin there, Gideon, and you're pretty much done there with your turn meter removal. You can even go with Vader lead. So I think that this time the turn meter removal feat won't be that hard to achieve as it was before. Up next we got Simple Tricks, and that's the one we have to win without using more than 6 special abilities. In the past I think like Troopers can be good if you can get turn meter train rolling, or as well CLS because they're turn meter train. So I think hopefully that will work, we shall see. So we got You Are Under Arrest, where you have to win with Mace Windu in your squad. So I guess some sort of Padme team there will do the job. Or obviously if you have Jedi, you could try Jedi as well. Plenty of options to use our reworked Mace Windu. Oh wait, He didn't get a rework, did he? And finally, here, the 4 feat, End of the Jedi, will have to win without using any Jedi in your squad. So it looks like here we got now 4 feats in Sector 3 for the final boss, whereas the other sector had only 3 feats. So definitely see a lot of feats here, which means more attempts, especially looking at the feats themselves. They're like very faction or character specific, so it's going to be really hard to get like all feats done in a single battle or even 2 battles sometimes. So again, adding to that theme of replaying missions over and over again. Alright, let's have a look what Sector 4 holds in store for us. Starting off fleet-footed, you have to evade at least 100 attacks in the battles that you want. So these ones you actually have to win as well, not just evade. Now, we were forced to relic our Qui-Gon to get Jedi Master Kenobi, so you can make use of his leadership because you will start with Foresight. Whenever you defeat an enemy, you will gain Foresight. You've got both Yodas spreading Foresight, so hopefully getting this evasion feat won't be too challenging. Up next, we've got the Disarmed. This is where you have to win the 10 battles with no attackers in your squad. Troopers are a good one there because they're also, you can do all support troopers and you can get their turn meter train rolling, or you could do Ray with all the support and tank droids. This team works as well. Up next we got the Reeling Blow. Would have to attempt to inflict stagger 60 times. Bastille on her special, she can apply stagger to multiple enemies, so probably this will be a good team to run. Otherwise as well, Veteran Han, he also can get staggers going, so we'll see, but again, this is now Sector 4 already, so the enemies will be very hard, very difficult, so maybe, using Bastila there with a powerful team such as Darth Revan might be the easiest thing to achieve this. Up next, Tradition of War, and this one you have to defeat 50 units with Mandalorians. As you can see, my Mandalorians in Sector 4. So again, I might have to pull off some sort of trick as with Phoenix, where you do Ray lead, 3 non-attacking characters, and then just Jango, or actually probably Mandalorian, because Jango won't be getting bonus protection from Live Blood, so probably just be using Beskar Mandalorian there. Oh boy. Anyways, I'll definitely be making videos out of these funny feeds, but for now let's just move on. All smugglers. This is where you have to win how many battles? That's right, 14 battles with smugglers. Now Kira, she's the only smuggler lead, so probably you will want to put her lead there, and then obviously put all the best smugglers you've got. So this is what I'll be trying to achieve. But again, as you can see, we have to use Mandalorians, we have to use smugglers, we have to attempt stagger. So all of these feats, they don't really have a team that can get multiple feats done. So this looks to me more and more like that some sectors will have to even play it 3 times, not like 1 or 2 times. So definitely it's looking like that to get max rewards this time will definitely have to be refreshing energy. You won't be able to just play through without that. So next one, evasive movement. So this one you have to gain evasion up 20 times. Now Han, on his special ability, he grants evasion up to all allies, so probably Rebels team with Han will be your best bet here in Sector 4 to get this feat done, probably maybe even in a single battle, which obviously we do have to try and get this done is minimum number of battles as possible, because you can see we'll have to be replaying a lot this conquest. So the mini boss in Sector 4, Ahsoka lead. I mean, I'm definitely liking the way they mixed up these boss battles, because in first set and second set where we had was pretty like standard and dull teams to go up against, but this time they're really mixing it up, like Qui-Gon lead, Ahsoka Tano lead. So it's gonna be definitely a little bit more fun, a little bit interesting going up against new these bosses that are slightly different than what you would normally face anywhere else in the game. But the feats themselves again are being repeated: light side, dark side squad, and another side squad. So it really seems like they're kind of forcing us to really be replaying this to get all the feats done. So that's how it is. Let's move on to the final boss battle here in Sector 4. This time we'll be going up against Maul. Now this will be interesting because obviously we do not have Maul in game yet, and it's going to be another, I don't know, 2-3 months before people unlock it. So it's going to be like a nice first glimpse of what actually Maul looks like in action. But then again, Conquest isn't always the best gauge of how characters perform just because of all these crazy modifiers and everything. But at least, you know, we'll see his interactions with Mandalorians, how that works. So the first feat here in Sector 4 versus Maul, Beskar Breaker. Here you have to inflict Armor Shred 3 times. Well, I guess there applies Armor Shred, so I'm thinking this might be a good team to use up against these guys. Because remember all these Mandalorians that, well, when they attack out of turn and stuff, they can't critically hit you. So I'm hoping General Skywalker will be able to get this one done. Up next, crush them. You have to defeat at least 3 enemies in the same turn. In the past, I have usually done this with Darth Revan. We obviously get everybody in low health. And then Basti can unleash her Wild Lightning. So we'll see. I don't know how Maul will add any complications to it. The unsupportive, and this one you have to win without using any support in your squad. So I'm just thinking Silas Rebels, hopefully, you know, can get the job done there. And finally, crack in the armor. Here you have to gain defense penetration up 20 times. Now there are probably more characters here that can gain defense penetration up, especially if you do have Master Kenobi. Yes, you, I'm looking at you right there. I don't. So probably have to make use of Grandmaster Yoda, because on his basic, whenever he attacks an enemy that is below 50% health, he will grant himself offense up and defense penetration, and then he can go ahead and spread it to the team. So that's my plan for the time being, to see if I can get this feat done in that way. So same as in Sector 3. Sector 4, final boss fight here. It's got 4 feats, unlike Sector 1 and 2 where we had only 3 feats to do. Alright, so we got one more sector to go, so let's just switch now to Sector 5 and let's see what's waiting for us over there. Starting off, Reeling Blow, we have to attempt to inflict daze 40 times. Now Skywalker, he's got a mass daze, Piet's got a mass daze, also you've obviously got Maul, if you do have him, also has a mass daze. Here I just put Skywalker as an example. Mark for Death, you have to inflict Death Mark 10 times. Death Trooper, obviously, he can apply Death Mark. And as well, I think that also if you use General Grievous, and then Grievous is marking other droids, I think that counts as well. So you could do General Grievous. And as well, obviously, Darth Revan, but Revan only will apply Mark, obviously, on the leader. And then if you take the leader out, you don't have a chance to reapply the Death Mark. So it's going to be either Troopers or General Grievous. So maybe you could combine the Reeling Blow and Mark for Death, like 2-in-1, Daze and Death Mark done. Hopefully there will be some Night Sisters here in Sector 5, so we can knock this out in, you know, a single battle, hopefully. And also worth mentioning that the Death Trooper on his basic dazes as well. So definitely Troopers should be good for both of these feats done. Up next, Grand Victory. You have to defeat at least 100 enemies. You know, use whatever you got, really. Let's blow something up. Defeat 40 units with Bad Batch. Now here, what I'm thinking to do, again, utilize Rey, and then, you know, one of the Bad Batch, 3 non-attackers. Rey keeps spamming Lifeblood, bonus protection on your guys, so they can't be taken out. And then, hopefully, you know, you get enough data discs that one of your guys can do damage. That's my guess there. I think there's a massively overpowered, isn't it, disc that kind of, after again, I don't know how many buffs you can do massive damage to enemies. Maybe the stacking offense buffs that eventually, you know, like one of your guys can ramp up offense so much that they can actually take somebody out. Maybe you can soften them up with the Rey's ultimate, and then maybe they can finish them off. That's what I'll be attempting anyways. Again, I'll be making videos as I get there. Up next, Brood Warfare. Have to win 14 battles with a full squad of GOs. So again, as you can see, replaying this, the more and more I'm looking at these feats, it seems like we'll have to replay every sector like 2 times at least, if not more in certain situations. Let's hope the energy cost increase that they announced is not too high, and as well swapping disc doesn't cost too much energy, otherwise I can see, you know, you'll probably have to refresh once, twice, maybe even 3 times to get everything done. But anyway, my Geos, Gear 12, Brood Alpha is Relic 4, maybe with some powerful data discs we can pick on a weak enemy, but this is Sector 5, you know, where everybody's like, the weaker squads will have over-prepared and everything. Alright, we'll see. But definitely, you know, getting max grade this time for many of us would be extremely challenging. I'm not even 100% sure I will be able to get it. But anyway, moving on. We got Flawless Victory, where you have to win at least 20 battles without losing any units. We'll see, it's Sector 5. Sometimes it's not more straightforward because they've got so much speed and offense. But anyways, again, let's look at the here mini boss Phoenix Squadron with Fulcrum. So that'll be an interesting one. I'm sure they'll be over prepared and things like that, and they're rebels. So whenever they score a critical hit, they will attack again. That's I'm thinking maybe Padme, because attacking out of turn will grant you bonus protection, and when bonus protection up, and when you do have protection up, that you can't be critical hit. So hopefully this will be able to offset the onslaught that Phoenix will bring there. And Touch of Darkness, again, same feats, light side, dark side, and as well undersize. So definitely look at mini boss. All the feats in each sector are exactly the same to achieve. So let's just now finish off here today's feats overview with the final boss. And oh boy, it's a final one for sure. Master Kenobi. Now luckily, no Commander Ahsoka Tano, Skywalker and things like that, but this is a full squad of Galactic Republic Jedi, and Cam will give them extra offense because of that, so this team will pack a punch. Anyways, it's going to be hard, as we know, but from previously experience before Commander Ahsoka Tano was launched, I think that John Skywalker was able to defeat Master Luke, but now that John Skywalker has been nerfed, I'm not sure it'll have enough firepower, although with some powerful data discs potentially. Obviously you've got as well Padme there as a non-galactic legend option, but most likely, yeah, we'll be needing galactic legends here versus Master Kenobi, all the galactic legends you have. So the first feat against here, armor up, you have to gain defense up 20 times, and that's where Rose Tico will be useful, because of one of her special abilities, she applies defense up to all resistance allies. So if you do have Rey, just load her with the resistance squad and Rose Tico, and we will get this feat done. So Guarded Assault, this one you have to win the battle without losing a unit while at least one attacker. So here Ahsoka and Anakin are attacker, is Commander Ahsoka an attacker as well. Yeah, so it doesn't matter, you have to have at least one attacker here. So I'm thinking, trying to imagine that this team potentially could take it out. I'm not sure how modifiers will play the part in all of it. If not, again, you'll have to rely on one of the Galactic Legends to get this done. Devastating Strike, you have to deal at least 200,000 damage to an enemy in a single hit. So I'm just thinking, Sith Eternal Emperor, he could maybe build up his damage and then do a big hit, because I don't know, or Supreme Leader Kylo Ren as well, if you do have him, he'll be able to do that. Rey also, obviously, with her ultimate. So definitely seems like for this one we will be needing most likely a Galactic Legend to get this done. And finally, Opportunistic Advance, where you have to attack out of turn at least 30 times. So if you do have Jedi, this should be a good one to do, because obviously you got Revan, he's got assist, Luke's got assist, and then through Luke's leadership as well, you're getting assist. Obviously, if you do have Master Kenobi, you'll be fine, but I don't. So there you go, guys. These are all the feats here in the Conquest that we have for upcoming. Obviously, as everything to CG, it's subject to change. This is all pulled from the data mine by the amazing guys of our community at SWGOH Events Discord server. Again, go and check their server out. It's absolutely amazing. They cover all kinds of game modes, not just Conquest. So lots of useful information on there. I mean, one way I'm excited for new Conquest, just because obviously we have more feats to work with, and also it seems like they were a little bit more creative this time with the feats and the teams, as well as, you know, trying to be more like lore connected, the feats and the teams that we're going up against. So definitely from that point of view, it will be a whole lot more fun. I guess the less fun part will be kind of forcing us to replay each sector 2 times. maybe 3 times, which maybe in itself wouldn't be that much of an issue, but with so many needing to replay missions, increasing cost of energy, now using energy to swap data disks, it almost seems like inevitable. For you to get max rewards, you will most likely need to refresh everyday energy probably 2 times is my guess. I have no idea, so get ready for that. And I also have a feeling that not as many people will be able to get max rewards this time. I'm not sure will I be able to get it, just because the information there, the maximum key cards available are, I think they said, were 680, and to get max rewards you need to get 640, so you only have 35 there key cards that you can miss out. So for example, you say, okay, I can't do Bad Batch, I can't do GO1, I can't do Phoenix, and you're done basically. You cannot get the max rewards, and that's including that you still have to defeat Master Kenobi here and get all these feats done versus Master Kenobi. So I personally am not even sure I will be able to get max rewards, but at the end of the day, I have a feeling this conquest will be a lot more fun from that point of view. There's a lot more variety now in feats and teams. If I don't get max rewards, that's okay. I'll get more than, after 4th or 5th conquest instead of 3. I will not stress it out. At the end of the day, it's a game. So let's go out there, enjoy it, have fun. Thank you for watching, guys. I'll see you in the next one. But until then, may the RNG be with you, my friends.